Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at a new release from a micro brand. Now this brand was funded by the owner himself, so it wasn't kickstarted. It is the SeaKing watch brand, and this is the SK-1, their first edition. Now it does come in this nice leather box with some red stitching, as you can see. It's a pretty cool little compact box here to store the watch. And inside here we do have your warranty card, which is a 1-year warranty. And then here is the watch, as you can see. So let me get this out of here and let's get into it. Okay, so here's the SeaKing SK-1 in the flesh. As you can see, it's quite a nice looking watch. It's very attractive. I do like the black dial variant a bit better than their blue dial variant. So they have two color options. I believe there's a limited edition of 100 pieces. It has a number on the case back of the actual number that you get. But let's get into some basic specifications here. Now in terms of the actual diameter of the SeaKing SK-1, it is a 44mm watch, but it truly wears like a 42mm watch. And I'm saying that because we have a fairly short lug distance of 49.5mm here. And the lugs are rather small, as you can see. They are those twisted kind of Omega styled lugs, if you would say. So the watch really does wear like a 42mm watch, which is a pleasure for me. And you know, my wrist is 6.5 inches, and if your wrist is even 7 or 7.5, a 42 looks really nice on the wrist. Now in terms of the actual thickness of the SK-1, we're looking at 13mm. That is including the domed sapphire crystal we get. So if you minus the domed sapphire crystal, you're looking at about 12.5mm in thickness, which is quite thin. And helping that is this rather thin screw down case back, as you can see. Not much protrudes from the bottom of the case. And also, these lugs are slightly curved down here, helping to conform to the wrist. Now in terms of the actual lug width on this watch, it's using a 22mm lug width with this all stainless steel bracelet here. Now taking a look at the actual dial, so this is basically a straight dark deep black dial, and it's fairly simple and fairly symmetrical minus the date over here, which kind of blends in with the marker a little bit. It's very reminiscent of the Ray Donovan Seamaster, the older vintage Seamaster 300. Kind of takes hints from that. I would not call this watch a homage watch in terms of, you know, like something like a Steinhardt compared to a Submariner. No way is this a homage like that. It does take some cues from the older Seamaster though. So we get these large white applied markers, as you can see, framed in silver on the border over there. Nice sword style hands. We get a date aperture over at the 3 o'clock position. Automatic is, it looks like it's applied there slightly. Automatic in red, which is nice against this black dial and black ceramic bezel. SeaKing is printed below the 12 o'clock position with the logo. And it's a fairly simple dial. You do get your fine minute markings, which is printed as well. And everything looks pretty good. Now the actual bezel on this watch, we get a ceramic loomed bezel. Now the loom on the bezel is the same as the markers and the hands. It is C3 Super Luminova, which is super bright. It glows a greenish hue, and I will throw up a loom shot once I throw it on my wrist towards the end of the video, so just stay tuned for that. Now the actual seconds hand as well has that nice red arrow tip and a nice red point coming out of it. As you can see, it matches that automatic over there where it does stay 300 meters. This watch is a 300-meter dive watch with a screw-down crown as well, which is signed. So this watch is good for pretty much diving, any water activity you can think of, and that's what a dive watch is meant for. I would call this really a tool dive watch or a tool watch, in my opinion. So the ceramic bezel, the action, the play, let's get into that. It's a fairly decent bezel. It's 120 clicks all the way around. Not really any play there, really. It's very solid. I must say it is a really good bezel in terms of the action. And as you can see, everything lines up perfectly, which is good to see. Now the crystal, like I stated earlier, it's a domed sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating on the underside. And you will see that hue of blue if you take it out in direct sunlight. You get some blue shades, which looks really nice with this black. Yeah, that looks really nice. Now the finishing, it's brushed on these sides over here. I don't see any issues there. The finishing looks fairly good. Let's check the other side. See, that looks good. Now the lugs, the top portion of these kind of spiral lugs here, are polished. which gives off some nice contrast between the brushed and the polished, as you can see. So that looks pretty good as well. Now, the actual movement inside of this watch. Well, the great thing about this watch, at an affordable price, I think this one is selling for, I believe, $519.99, including shipping in the USA. This is sporting the Sellita SW200 Swiss-made automatic movement, which is nice to see, and also one of the reasons why we can get this watch so thin instead of something like a chunky Seiko NH35 or something of that nature. So it really helps it wear nice on the wrist. Now this movement, we're looking at 26 joules. It beats at 4 hertz or 28,800 vibrations per hour. It has a 38-hour power reserve, and some people, it's on the kind of on the fence. Some people say it's more efficient than the ETA 2824. I think they run the same. It's technically about the same movement almost. And yeah, it's a great movement. This one has been gaining 6 seconds a day, which is really good. Considering it's not chronometer or COSC certified or anything like that, it runs just fine, and it's been keeping good time. Now the main functions of the watch, I'm going to unscrew the crown here. Nice smooth winding of this crown, very easy to grasp. As you can see, there are no crown guards on this case right here. Now the first position will be your date change. Get a nice quick set date. Very solid. Final position is your hacking position, and we can set the time there, and it will reveal the logo. As you can see, that nice SeaKing logo, which is printed below the 12 o'clock position. Let me screw this crown back in. Okay, now let's take a look at this nice bracelet this watch comes equipped with. So we do get a 22mm non-tapering bracelet. As you can see, it's straight 22 down. At the clasp, it does reach 24mm. It's a solid, pretty solid stainless steel bracelet. Everything is solid, as you can see. The fluidity is there. It's not stiff or anything like that. And a great thing about this bracelet is we do get screw-in links, which is nice to see. Also, the clasp has a ratchet diver's extension, and it is also signed SeaKing right here. So as you can see, there's one button to actually open the clasp, and there's one button for this diver's extension right here. Now, we don't have any micro adjustments on here, but don't worry about that, because you can just use this to micro adjust on the go, or if your wrist is swelling or something like that, you can just push this button, and we get a ratchet here. You can adjust it in a few different ways. So that's always nice to see. Those are pretty cool. Now, you also do get a milled clasp, which is very nice, and a nice solid snap. As you can see, it's not coming off the wrist. It's certainly constructed very nicely, and I do like the bracelet. It's certainly comfortable. These sides are definitely highly polished, while the top portion is finely brushed, and the brushing is pretty good. If I can get you in a little closer there, as you can see, the brushing is really nice on this bracelet. Very even, very nicely done, and the links are rounded, as you can see. So that also helps it to wear more comfortable. Some brands, micro brands, use kind of flat link bracelets, like they're not rounded off over here. And you know, when it's rounded off like this, it wears much more comfortable on the wrist. Right now, I want to throw the SeaKing SK-1 on my wrist. I also want to get you guys a nice lume shot, because that is a real strong point of this watch, and then we'll wrap it up here. Alrighty, here's the SK-1 on my 6.5-inch wrist. Now this is a 44mm timepiece. As you can see, it fits perfectly on my wrist. It rides low on the wrist. It's not the lightest watch, but it's not like substantial. It's not going to hurt your wrist or anything like that. It feels just right, and it definitely feels at home on my wrist. The bracelet definitely conforms nicely to the wrist. Perfect curve here. As you can see, there's the nice little clasp, and there's my diver's extension. Very easy to use. Now, yeah, that's it on the wrist. I want to show you guys the actual case back. The case back is fairly simple, I would say. As you can see, it just states SeaKing, your personal number out of the 100. We do get solid end links as well on the SeaKing SK-1. Does state sapphire crystal stainless steel. Nice matte finish over here. And then it's brushed on the outer portion. Here is a nice lume shot for you guys. As I was stating earlier, the lume is really good. Super bright, definitely on those sword hands and all the markers, especially that huge 12 o'clock marker. You should have no problem reading the time at night. And as you can see, that nice little tip sweeping around on the seconds hand is loomed as well. Very good loom, very good loom. So in conclusion, the SeaKing SK-1. Well, what do I think of it? I think for, $520, I think it's a very fair price. And I do like the looks of the watch. I like a lot of the components of the watch. I love the Sellita SW200, when a lot of the other micro brands are using Miyota 9015s or NH35s. Not that those are bad movements, but the Sellita SW200 is certainly an upgrade. I do like the use of a lot of lume on this watch, as it is a true 300-meter diving watch. I also like the general aesthetic of the dial. I like also how the seconds hand reaches all the way out to the fine minute markings, as you can see. The bracelet is definitely good quality, so there are really no shortcuts taking when producing this watch. And all in all, I think, it's a fairly decent offering, and I could definitely recommend this watch if you're looking for, an automatic diving watch with a Swiss movement and not trying to break the bank there. I will drop a link to their website in the description below if you want to check them out. That's pretty much going to be it for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Definitely hit the little bell icon for notifications when I upload a video. And I want to know what you guys think of this watch in the comment section below. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.